While Colonel Volgin and the boss could be seen as the main antagonists of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, they are not the only ones standing in the way of Naked Snake and his objectives in the game. There's also the Cobra Unit, a team of super soldiers who use their abilities to give Naked Snake more than a few problems during the game's events. Codenamed after the emotions they feel in the heat of battle and its aftermath, these versatile individuals come with unique skill sets and a sense of loyalty to their leader, the boss. That loyalty even earned them the name Sons of the Boss, a reflection of their respect and camaraderie with Naked Snake's charismatic mentor. But how and why did these incredibly skilled individuals come together as a team? How did the boss manage to win their loyalty? Well, we're here to answer those questions and more as we dive into the origins of each member and the unit as a whole. Procured powers. At this point, it's a good idea to dive into how each member of Cobra Unit got their powers to begin with. While not much is known of their early lives, each member of Cobra Unit came into contact with the Philosophers, a secret cabal of wealthy and powerful individuals that meant to use their collective wealth and influence to create a better world. However, greed and infighting caused the group to devolve and deviate from its original noble goal, and the Philosophers would go on to attempt influencing world governments and global events to suit more nefarious purposes. Before World War I, the boss would learn of them from her father before the group put an end to his life and took her under their wing. She would then go on to become a skilled spy master and a talented combatant, acting as a trainer in one of the group's schools for its recruits. Parallelly, 5 other individuals would receive experimental parasites that granted them superpowers, eventually leading them towards their time each with Cobra Unit and service under the boss, whom they would codename the Joy. Each member of Cobra Unit was fitted with a micro bomb that would explode upon their death owing to the value that the Philosophers placed on them, which meant that they could not be captured or their remains would be studied in case the use of their parasites were revealed. With that bit of history out of the way, it's time to get to know each member of the Cobra Unit and what would make them such a thorn in Naked Snake's side. Note that we have already done a video on the boss, so we won't be speaking about her in this one. The Pain. A towering behemoth of a man, the Pain's unique ability to control hornets and use them in battle came from a long time of learning to harness his parasite-induced ability. He achieved this by allowing the hornets he could control to sting him, his parasite then reacting to the extreme pain he felt to give him surges of adrenaline. Along with the creative use of his hornets and his ability to secrete pheromones that made them accept his orders just as they would do for a hive's queen, the Pain was a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. He could use his hornets both offensively and defensively, creating a suit of armor that only heavy weaponry could effectively pierce. He could also create a clone of himself, which he would use to confuse his enemies. He combined his abilities with a talent for using guns and frag grenades, weapons he combined with his hornets to devastating effect. He would also use special bees he called bullet bees, which could travel at high speeds to pierce through an enemy and tear them up from the inside. Brutal and efficient, the Pain certainly earns his codename in Delta, dishing out pain and posing a credible threat to Naked Snake. The Fear. Featuring an unsettling appearance to instill terror in the hearts of his enemies, the Fear certainly earned his codename and a reputation as a deadly operative within the Cobra Unit. Before his time with the boss and his comrades, he responded to his parasite's gifts by choosing further mutilations, giving himself a forked tongue and double joint in an attempt to improve his speed and agility. The surgeries worked wonders for the soldier, while a prototype stealth suit would allow him to become an infiltrator without comparison. While the suit did have some limitations, requiring that the Fear sustain an almost constant intake of food the more he used his abilities, it worked well with his ability to crawl up walls and perform acrobatic feats in battle. He also used zip lines to set up ambushes or hurtle across an arena, using dual crossbows equipped with venomous bolts that could quickly turn the tide in a pinch. He was proud of his abilities and displayed a certain flair for theatrics, although his need for food remained a weakness that Naked Snake could exploit. For weapons, the Fear relies on 2 specialized crossbows. The Little Joe is a compact weapon built for close-range skirmishes, offering fast reloads but modest power. In contrast, the William Tell is designed for long-distance shots, packing immense stopping force at the cost of a slower reload time. His arsenal doesn't end there. The Fear employs a wide range of enhanced bolts, including poison tips, oversized projectiles, and even bolts with explosive attached. Each strike can inflict devastating damage, making him one of the most unpredictable and dangerous foes in close or range combat. The End. This sniper's parasite granted him an unnaturally long life, which he used to further hone his skills via an extensive military career. He would earn the nickname as the Father of Snipers, passing on all knowledge of his art to the boss during their time in the Cobra Unit. Although his parasite allowed him to live a long life, his advanced age would require a lot of rest, a disadvantage that he countered by having a parrot for his companion in the field, which would wake him up in case he fell asleep after an extended duration of staying still and waiting for his target. The end is said to be capable of photosynthesis, allowing him to sustain himself directly from the environment. This gives him a tremendous stamina advantage in drawn-out encounters, making battles with him more about endurance than quick exchanges. His mastery of sniping with the modified Mosin Nagant and camouflage takes this further. When he blends into the forest, his body temperature drops to nearly match the surrounding air, making him incredibly difficult to detect with thermal or visual cues. Combined with his exceptional sniping skills, the End is able to disappear into the wilderness and patiently wait for the perfect shot, turning the battlefield itself into his greatest weapon. As good with stealth as he was with sniping, his parasite gave him the added advantage of being able to remain without food for days on end while he was hunting his enemies with heightened senses. It is implied that he also has a modicum of control over plant life, being able to set up traps for his targets while remaining unseen. His abilities were made all the more deadly when paired with his rifle, equipped with tranquilizer rounds that betrayed his reluctance to take lives despite his fearsome codename. He's quite the character and a worthy rival to Naked Snake in the story of Delta. The Fury. As the Cobra Unit's resident pyromaniac, the Fury would suffer from a near-death experience after a trip to space went horribly wrong, his spacecraft burning up on re-entry into Earth and leaving him with scars and an attitude that could have done with some readjustment. Nevertheless, he brought an implacable rage and a desire to direct that anger towards his enemies in the heat, pun intended, of battle. Wielding a flamethrower and a thermally insulated Soviet cosmonaut suit equipped with a jetpack, the Fury would use liquid rocket, an unstable mixture of unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine (UDMH) and nitrogen tetroxide (NTO), fuel to scorch his enemies and inflict his rage upon those opposed to him, Naked Snake included, of course. The result is an overwhelming torrent of fire strong enough to shut down nearly any direct assault. The Fury fights in a flame-proof suit built from a reinforced spacesuit, capable of withstanding both his own fire and standard explosives, including white phosphorus grenades. However, the armor isn't invincible. A close-range strike with a blade can tear through its defenses, though reaching him requires stealth and precision. Even the smallest detail, like the glow of a cigar or torch, can reveal your position, making patience and silence critical when stalking this fiery adversary. As a tip, damaging his suit could prove useful, drastically reducing his resistance to flame, allowing you to then turn his own strengths against him in the right circumstances. Use that information as you will when you do take him on. The Sorrow. The Sorrow's codename is actually a clever play on words, clashing his ever-cheery demeanor while revealing his sadness for the wanton loss of life that war and armed conflict brought to both soldiers and civilians. His wisdom was backed up by his parasite-induced ability to commune with dead soldiers, learning of enemy positions and even predicting the outcome of battles he was a part of. He could also project images of himself into the minds of his rivals, strategically leading them towards desired locations where his Cobra Unit comrades could make short work of them. The Sorrow also possessed rare extrasensory perception, making him one of the most mysterious member of the boss's former comrades. Renowned as a medium, he could commune with the dead and channel their voices from the spirit world. This ability allowed him to uncover details of battles by speaking to fallen soldiers, turning their lingering presence into his source of knowledge. However, what makes the Sorrow truly special is that he is dead by the time Snake Eater takes place, having been killed by someone we won't reveal here. However, his legacy lives on in more ways than one, and is something we won't spoil for you at this point. He's quite the character, and someone to watch out for as you play through Snake Eater. Lethally Loyal. The Cobra Unit is among Metal Gear Solid's most compelling group of characters, bringing their unique powers together during the battles of World War II under the boss's command, before being disbanded thanks to disagreements among the philosophers, until they were reunited prior to the narrative of Snake Eater. Their loyalty to the boss is among the most compelling parts of her story, and is a story thread that you are sure to find quite interesting as you witness how things play out in their confrontations with Naked Snake. Just remember to try and exploit their weaknesses, lest they overpower you during confrontations that we can only describe as epic. They are foes worthy of your respect, and soldiers who always bring their A-game to the battlefield. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.